We've talked about the camera and its position. We've talked about the light source. And now let's talk about the surfaces. So the third thing to think about is when you're looking at a particular point and that point is on a surface, then you're looking at what is the color of the pixel in the image at that point. Well, we know that the position of the camera matters. We know that the light source and its direction and several other factors about it matter. But the last thing is what's going on that particular surface. So first and foremost, what's the orientation of the surface? So we have three surfaces here that are identical in their base color, but they all look quite different and even different on the same surface based off of the orientation of the surface. So for example, this surface is oriented and pointing in this direction, which just so happens to mean that it's got sort of a side angle view on the sun, which makes it shaded kind of medium, whereas this one is blocked from the sunlight, which makes it quite dark, and this area of this surface is in the sunlight. So the orientation of the surface matters. Now, another thing that's really obvious is the color. So these surfaces are all the default white in SketchUp, and while they have some slightly different shades, if we open the Paint Bucket tool, so B is your shortcut for the bucket, and in your Paint Bucket tool, for now just go over to in the top area here, the far right, we have a brick icon. This is for Mac users. If you go to the brick icon, you have a drop-down menu option. For PC users, this drop-down menu option is a little lower for you and it's already exposed. If you click and drop that menu down and find where it says colors, just so we're all picking from the same menu here. And if you open your colors window, scroll around and find any old color. It doesn't really matter. We're going to paint one of these walls. Now, to paint the wall, we have this thing grouped. So first we need to right-click on it and pick the option for Edit Group. Then click on one of the swatches, any of the swatches to select it, and then click once on the surface to paint it. Now, this is pretty obvious, but when you paint that surface, all of a sudden the color of that pixel changes pretty dramatically, right? It turns from some sort of shaded white to now some sort of shaded teal green in this case. And so you can affect the colors, obviously, very directly by painting them. But it is important to think about that the orientation of the surface matters, and then the material or color that's being applied to it matters. And so we'll get into quite a bit about what you do with materials in SketchUp as we go along. Now you can go ahead and right-click outside of this group and close the group. And you can close down your colors palette if it's in the way.